Heart's Courage, written by Rita Peterson, the second book in a Heart's Journey series. Chapter 1.
Ivy White tossed a cardboard box of assorted donuts across the coffee table. She stared motionless at the box, annoyed with her lack of self-control. Her mind was at war with her heart. Mentally, she knew the wrongfulness of what she was about to do, but emotionally, it satisfied the wavering emptiness in her heart. Like a robot, Ivy reached with shaky hands for the box of donuts. She tried to stop herself, but her rational mind switched off. One by one, she scarfed down a dozen donuts. Ivy fell to the floor, her arms clenching her aching stomach. She swiped a hand over her sweaty forehead, smudging her foundation. Then Ivy started gagging. Shaking her head, she moaned and slammed her fist into the side of the couch. Ivy knew what was coming. She shot up and dashed for the bathroom. Slamming the door behind her, she forced herself to vomit into the toilet. Wiping her mouth with her hand, she fell onto her side and wept on the cold tile floor. Why couldn't she stop? Gripping the vanity, she pushed herself up. Ivy removed her eyeglasses, turned on the faucet, and splashed water on her face. Footsteps sounded outside the bathroom door. She froze. "Mom, are you okay?" 10-year-old Willow pressed her forehead against the closed door. "I heard you crying." Ivy reached for a face cloth. "I'm fine. A little sick, but nothing to worry about." She flicked her blonde hair back and began brushing her teeth. Ivy paused and stared at the large bags under her eyes. "Head back to bed." Willow's shoulders drooped. "But Mom, I can't sleep. My room is too light." Ivy shook her head and put down the toothbrush. "Give me a moment to freshen up, and I'll come to your room and fix the problem." "Okay, how are you going to fix it?" "You'll see. Go to your room and wait for me." Willow twirled around and tiptoed down the hallway to her room. She pushed open the door and flopped onto her twin bed. Adjusting her duvet, she reached for her well-loved kitty Stuffy. Clasping the kitty in her arms, she gave it a kiss on its nose. Ivy dropped a fleece blanket on Willow's bed. "Soon your kitty's nose will be worn right off if you keep kissing it like that." "I love my kitty." Willow squeezed the Stuffy tighter. Ivy ripped a couple of pieces of tape off the roll and began taping one side of the fleece blanket to the corner of Willow's window. "This should help darken your room." She continued to tape the adjacent corner of the window. "It's May in Alaska, which means more daylight later in the evening. Remember Great-Grandpa Mike's stories of his mining days in Alaska?" Willow's eyes widened. "His stories were the best. Great-Grandpa's favorite month was May because of all the wildflowers blooming. I miss him." She stroked the kitty's ears and sighed. "We'll need to go shopping for curtains. I want my room to feel like home." She tucked her kitty under her duvet. She rolled onto her side, pulling the duvet up to her neck. "At least I got you and my kitty." She kissed its worn-out nose again. "Daddy would have loved Alaska." Ivy sat next to her daughter and rested her hand on her head. "I know. It was his dream to move here someday." She stared at the blanket taped over the window. "Daddy would be proud of us. I got a full-time job, and you have an opportunity to make new friends." Willow mumbled, "I don't want to make new friends." "Oh, Willow, you need to start fresh." "What makes kids here any different than the ones in New York?" she whined. "That's enough for tonight. Both of us need rest. We have a big day tomorrow." She hugged her daughter and patted the kitty on the head. "I love you, and your daddy loves you too." Ivy forced herself to hold back the tears. "You should think of a name for your kitty." She switched off the light. "Love you, sweet pea." Willow blew her mum a kiss. "Yeah, I know. It's just that—" "There's nothing to worry about. Your room is darker now. Head off to sleep." Ivy exhaled. "Sweet dreams. I love you." She exited the room and closed the door behind her. Ivy made her way to the opposite side of the 700-square-foot apartment. She slumped onto her bed and tugged her covers over her shivering body. Wishing she didn't have to lie to her daughter, she squeezed her eyes shut and began to weep.